This is the final result of my eyebrow mapping. So we are gonna tint all of this. Hello and welcome to my channel. Today I am going to do a video on how I do my eyebrows. So this is long overdue and I've been dying to make this video because I normally have to do my eyebrows once a week because of how dark they are. Like, I know people who can go months without doing them just because their eyebrows are lighter, and I'm just not that person. Like, when my eyebrows grow out, I have to do them like immediately, or else they just look crazy. Anyways, let's get right into it. I got my henna powder right here. I just make sure clean up my eyebrows. So this is what I would do on my regular clients as well. Sometimes I'll put makeup remover on the cloth just in case there's makeup. Like, I want it to be like a very clean surface so that the henna can penetrate deeper. Just gonna brush up my eyebrows. I'm going to map out my eyebrows, and this eyebrow map is by Parallel Products. I think I got this off of Amazon. This is just how it looks like, and this is pre-inked mapping string. And what you want to do is you want to look at your cupid's bow and go from your cupid's bow, the end of your nose, your end of your nostrils, and to the end of your eye, and that is where your eye should end, just right here. I'm gonna repeat that on the other side. And another thing to keep in mind is our face is not symmetrical, so that's why even with eyebrow mapping, sometimes they won't be fully symmetrical because we're mapping based off of your facial features. And yeah, so it's not always going to be super symmetrical. That's okay. Your eyebrows are sisters, not twins. Sometimes they're cousins, sometimes they're like not even related. But ideally, obviously, we all want our eyebrows to be like at least somewhat symmetrical, or like look kind of the same. Oh, sorry, I forgot to mention what I'm doing. So basically, you're supposed to draw a straight line going from your cupid's bow straight up. And same with these two lines. This is to determine the front. You're gonna go based off of your nose. So like right here, right here. Honestly, eyebrow mapping is a game changer. You can always freehand the way you do eyebrows, but eyebrow mapping, I'll do it like even if I'm waxing my client's eyebrows, just because I want to make sure that their eyebrows are super symmetrical, as symmetrical as can be, and it also helps get the shape. So I won't always tint my eyebrows, but I like to do this like whenever I have time, honestly. And because my eyebrows are super going on, like, why not? Let me do both. So this is how high I'm gonna make my arc. So just like that. Connect the lines. So I usually go from here to here. Do the sides to the bottom. Now I'm gonna connect the lines for the tail. So as you can see, I have a shorter tail. Naturally, it's actually not like that. I have a longer tail, but it goes a little more downwards, and I actually plucked it because I want to give myself more of like a lift. I'm sure you guys have seen this all over TikTok, all over social media, but basically the trick is if your eyebrows are a little higher, it actually gives you more of like a cat eye lift effect. My eyebrows would normally go down like this, but I'm gonna bring it up like that. This is the final result of my eyebrow mapping. So we are gonna tint all of this and over here too, because it's a little empty unless I brush it up, but I'm still gonna tint it anyway. And you can see on this side as well, very empty. So yeah, we're going to tint that. But before we do that, a little extra step that I like to do is adding brow paste. So when I first started in my business, I used to tint eyebrows just freehanding it, and then I got introduced to eyebrow mapping. I started brow mapping and then tinting, and then I got introduced to brow paste, which it actually is very helpful, because when you're just brow mapping and you're adding the tint, you're gonna have to clean up a lot around. It's a little messy sometimes, and like it'll go outside of the lines, so you're just gonna have to clean it up. But because of brow paste, it actually really helps keep the shape, so it actually reduces the time of you like cleaning up around with like Q-tip or cotton stick. So using this brush by Morphe, it is the M165 brush. Looks like this. It's super thin. I love this for concealing around the eyebrow, as well as using it to just carve out the shape. So I'm dipping that in my brow paste. And if you don't want to, if you're doing this at home and you don't want to get brow paste, you can probably just use concealer, like a thick concealer. I'm going to draw out my eyebrow. I'm gonna do that on my mirror, and then I'll show you guys what it looks like in a second. So I just did the line underneath, and this is what it looks like. Another thing a lot of my clients ask me is why I wax after tinting, and there's actually a pretty good reason for why I wax after tinting as opposed to before waxing. So basically, when you're waxing, your skin is basically open, like your pores are more open. So your skin actually gets a lot more sensitive with the tint applied after waxing as opposed to before. And another point is waxing after tint is actually just much easier because you've already tinted, so you have the shape there. So you're not really like, there's no struggle, there's no like, oh, should I do it like this, should I do it like that? You already have the shape and you're cleaning up around the shape. So that is why I do that. Also, another point is if you have a little bit of tint outside of the lines that you've created, the wax a lot of the times will clean it up because it takes off like a layer of your skin, like the dead skin. It will actually clean off the tint. Okay, I just wiped off the lines on my face because I don't want to look crazy the whole video. So now that my eyebrows are all lined up, what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna brush down my eyebrows, and I'm gonna start tinting inside of this box. I know that some people like to use a flat angled brush. I personally like to use a thin brush like this one. I feel like I have more control with that, and it's less messy. And the color tint that I am using right now is in dark brown. I'll normally keep this on for about like, I would say 20 minutes. Then I'm gonna brush it upwards. You can see I made a little mess here, and that's okay because we got our cotton stick that we're gonna use to clean up around. And you want to make sure you do this as soon as the tint comes off of the brow shape, because depending on your skin type, sometimes it can stain very quickly. This eyebrow is usually the thinner one, so as you can see, I have less hair on this one than the other one. For some reason, I have no idea why. The thing I want to mention is my eyebrow hairs I would consider to be like black brown, but I would never use just black. Although my eyebrows are like technically black, I wouldn't use black because it'll just look way too harsh, and especially because we're making them fuller. So if you add black tint on your eyebrows that are already black, it's just gonna look crazy. But you can mix black with dark brown, which I have done before, and I like doing that as well because it does process a lot quicker. which is nice. This is how it looks like with the tint on. I'm gonna let that sit for about 20 minutes and then I will be back to wipe it off and then show you guys what it looks like, and then we're gonna be waxing. It's been 20 minutes. It's time to wipe off the tint. It's pretty dried up and it usually gets a little uncomfortable, like not irritating, but just a little uncomfortable because it's like all dried up. So using a wet wipe, I also dipped it in water to make it more moist, and I'm gonna just dab that on to moisten up the tint. So this is the first eyebrow. What do you guys think? Let's do the other one now. When people tell me that they find it really hard to shape up their eyebrow, honestly, I understand. It's hard when your eyebrows are not cleaned up, especially, and when you don't have eyebrow hairs, because like I have pretty full eyebrows as is, it's more simple to shape because I kind of already have the guide, and then I just have to basically do the tail. But that's why it's nice to get your eyebrows professionally done, like waxed or tinted or laminated, so the professional brow tech can give you a shape. And then once you go in, you can just like follow along once the tint has faded. But it is nice to also keep a routine where you're getting your eyebrows done maybe like once a month, once every 2 months. If you're like me, I'll do my eyebrows like literally once a week. It's gonna give you guys a close-up. This is what they look like with the tint off. Pretty full and dark. Look at how long my eyebrow hairs are. I'm gonna have to trim that before waxing. And I do recommend trimming your eyebrows before waxing, because if they're really long and you're waxing, you have a risk of like pulling off that hair, but you don't want that. You want to keep that hair. So I'm just gonna brush my hairs upwards. And I know that now the trend is bushy, like laminated eyebrows. I personally, like for myself, I personally still like the sleek, like very sharp look. Just on myself, but on other people, I think it looks beautiful. Let me zoom in so you guys can see how I trim my eyebrows. I always find that one eyebrow is easier to trim than the other. So this is the easier one, I would say, and the other one's a little harder. Wow, this is super satisfying. I haven't done this in so long. Wow, you guys don't understand how happy I am. So there we go, one is trimmed and one is not. So you can see a comparison. And if your eyebrows are very bushy, another trick is to bring it down and just trim that. But mine are not too bushy, so I'm just gonna keep that. Let's do the other one now. You know why it's hard to do one eyebrow as opposed to the other? Let me show you guys how my arm is. So with this one, it's just an easy trim. This one I have to go like this and like, it's just an awkward position. So I'm done trimming my eyebrows. Now it's time for the fun part, which is waxing. So the wax that I'm going to be using today is by Satin Smooth. It's their ultra sensitive zinc oxide wax. I like this wax because I'm not super sensitive. I have like normal to sensitive skin, normal to dry sensitive skin. So I like to use this also on my clients because everyone has different skin types, but it's always better to be on the safe side by using a sensitive wax. So I have a little bit of wax on here, and I'm just gonna apply that right underneath my eyebrow. One, two, three, boom. You see that? Now let's do this. Look at that, and then I'm gonna wax the top part. Waxing the top of your eyebrows, you want to brush your eyebrow hairs downwards. This is also why I like to trim, because the hairs that naturally go up regardless if you brush it down, you want to avoid waxing those off. So I would like to mention the oil that you use before applying the wax isn't any ordinary oil. You can use any post-wax like cream or oil. This one I'm using is by Science Smooth. Let me just show you guys what that looks like. It is a post and pre-wax oil. Got the wax all the way on top, and I'm gonna wax the hairs off. There you go. And there you go. One eyebrow is waxed and the other is undone. Don't you guys just feel so much cleaner after you get your eyebrows done? Like, I'm obsessed with getting my eyebrows done. I always get super surprised when I get clients that are like in their 20s or even older, and they tell me they've never done their eyebrows, and I'm the first person to do their eyebrows. I get so happy and so honored that like I'm the first person to touch their eyebrows. I feel like this eyebrow was bushier than the other one. That's actually a lot of hair. We're gonna apply some aloe vera. Done. I'm gonna just touch up the eyebrow a little bit by plucking any hairs that the wax didn't pick up. Then I'll be right back and show you guys what it looks like. So that concludes our video. I just finished off the eyebrow by plucking it, and I also concealed a little bit around. Let me give you guys a close-up of what they look like. I'm obsessed. Let me know if you guys ended up following along while I was doing my eyebrows, or if you guys found these tips to be helpful. Make sure to subscribe. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.